JB here. Hope everybody's doing a standing Tuesday, July 1st, 2025, 9:03 a.m. Welcome to the third quarter. Welcome to this back half of the year. The first half of the year, pretty remarkable stuff. Even just the second quarter, it was pretty much traded a couple years worth. We had a couple years worth of action in just in that second quarter. But now it's like, I wouldn't say things are back to normal, but we'll have to see how things all play out. New highs typically beget new highs, and that's kind of like yesterday's action. No big catalyst. The two T's are kind of ruling the headlines this week: tariffs or the trade war, whatever you want to call it, and the tax bill, which is still more haggling over the tax bill. Who knows how that plays out? You have the Musk Trump feud 2.0. It's like Musk he can't sit on his hands, right? He just can't resist uh, going back and forth. He's done it throughout his whole career, so it's not anything new. It's just this time it's with the president of the United States instead of a president of another country or some other official or what have you. The SEC. It's just how he is. But it's unfortunate if you're a Tesla shareholder. It's like that's a risk. It's a risk of not only just uh, there's possibility of retribution, I guess, by the current administration. I mean, Trump just said this morning that he wants to have Doge look at Musk. I don't know who knows what that looks. Possibly haven't deported. So you have that risk, and also you have like a stigma being associated with him. So like if you people love Trump, people now hate Musk. It used to be they loved you. You got to pick and choose your sides, and then if you drive the vehicle, so there's a whole thing that he's putting his company in risk of having outside forces dictate their sales as opposed to being a great, if it's a great car or whatever. Now you're taking that as a part of the decision process. So rough spot there. We'll see how today plays out. 9:30, Powell speaks in Portugal. There's the central bankers meeting. I don't know if there's going to be much commentary in regards to that. We have the JOLTS report. And then it's a holiday trading week. So Thursday is a half day, Friday market closed. Yesterday we gapped to highs all the way to 619 into the late afternoon before a quick pull. Just remarkable stuff. So if you can make the case of and we still have POTUS, right? I mean, this whole thing with Fed Chair Powell, you have to think, Powell's going to cut rates in September. That's almost like it's going to be 100% probability soon. Outside of that, we have yields, right? So yields continue to go down. I don't know if some of that's the specter of this what's going on between Trump and Powell. So that's some of it. Obviously, you can attribute some of it to the economic data and the inflation data, right? Strong economic data. Inflation's been kind of stagnant. So because of that, it's like even without this back and forth between, well, I wouldn't say back and forth because pretty much just back, or should I say forth, because Powell really doesn't answer questions on that regard anymore. But it just seems like yields would have gone down regardless, thankfully. But then on the flip side, we have the U.S. dollar situation. U.S. dollar lower again yesterday. Lower. It's like stealing that. This one's stealing headlines. But again, it's like in the context of everything, the U.S. dollar is not at decades lows as against a basket of currencies, right? It might be at decade lows versus individual countries' currencies. But it's 2022 lows in regards to its value as a global currency. So you have folks, I was mentioned yesterday afternoon, there's people, I'm short the dollar, long the euro. Hey, maybe that works, right? But you don't need the dollar to weaken as a whole for it that trade to work out, because the euro could get stronger relative to US dollar, right? So we'll see how that all plays out. But a lot of it, of course, is the tax bill. So supposedly they're expecting possibly vote on it this afternoon. I don't know how much it will rattle markets either way. If the tax bill doesn't get passed, it's almost like heads, the market wins, tails. I don't know. It's like a win-win scenario, right? If it passes, the market might go up because it's like, okay, we got that headwind out of the way. But then if it doesn't pass, it's like, okay, maybe they can work on a bill that doesn't raise the deficit too much, right? And everybody has their own arguments. Oh, the tax cuts are going to cause spending to go up. The spending is going to cause more tax receipts. The tariffs are going to cause more tax receipts. So there's arguments on both sides. Not going to get into the arguments there. so that so that's the overall market. Yields down now. So just some individual names. So first Apple yesterday afternoon. I haven't traded Apple in years. I can't remember the last time. Maybe it's 2 years ago. I think it was a post earnings trade. But here's a company that it's a lot of it's hardware related. Back in the day, it was a lot of hardware related: iPhones, iPads, the MacBook Pros, all that fun stuff. The AirPods. then they started getting the iTunes and the App Store, and then that revenue started to take hold, and that's the high margin revenue, right? And supposedly monopoly on the air on the App Store or what have you. But now the issue here is with the Siri, right? And everybody's coming out with their AI, and Siri was supposed to be this is the next game changer for them, and they've been having issues with it and rolling it out, and then supposedly now 2026. Uh, and and then you have reports out yesterday afternoon that hey, they're finally open to maybe outsourcing this AI to Anthropic or OpenAI, right? So if that's the case, I mean, Apple's traditionally not a company that outsources things, right? They bring people in to make stuff for them, right? Even when they want to do uh, the AirPods or some of these other the iWatch, that they those were all insourced, right? It wasn't like they went and acquired a company and make those things. So this will be kind of like a first for them. I wouldn't say a first, but to me, it's a change of sentiment, right? It's like, okay, Apple understands that this is important and they're going to do something to address it, as opposed to just saying, oh, we're going to get this out in 2026. So to me, this is like the kickstart I think it needs. It's back over its 50-day moving average. And I think it's off to the races. Tight Bollinger Band setup, consolidating pretty much for the entire month of June between like very tight range, 201 to 202. So I would not be surprised if this trades north of 220 in the next week or two. Got some spec calls in the afternoon, close them out to cover costs for over 100%. I'll just hold the rest. If it gets over 210, I'll close some more. And then I might look for some calls to play for a move to 220. All right, so that's Apple. Reddit, I was just putting on the watch list again. This yesterday morning was going to get some calls at the open. Sure enough, the Reddit option market doesn't open up till like 9:31, 9:32, which on a side note is just mind-boggling to me. You have equities trading pretty much 24/7, and you can't have an option market on a name that trades 10 million shares a day. It's pretty popular, and the option market doesn't open until 9:32. To me, again, I think it's market makers profiting on the moves, right? Oh my gosh, let's finagle the stock to maximize our profits before the option market opens. But anyway, got some speculado calls, go all the way up past 150, then 155. Closed some in to cover some costs, still held the rest. I think it trades 160 plus, hopefully this week. So if it shows some strength at the open, it is gapping just a little bit. I might look for some more strikes, some speculados. That's Reddit. Joby and SERV, right? Joby all the way up to 11. Finally, last time I hit those levels back in July of 2023. I think it's the start of a multi-week, multi-month move. Hopefully, it had a big move yesterday, up 11%. So not surprised to see it kind of consolidate a little bit. But if you look at the chart since the start of June, some runs up to $9 and back down to 750, run up to 10, back down to 850, and then a run up to 11. So we'll see if this is the next leg, but I think it heads 14 plus in the coming weeks. Added some August strikes, locked some of my more of my July calls in, just hold a few of those, and I'll continue to look for opportunities to play that one. Lemonade had some great news after yesterday afternoon. I think it's more about how much capital they have to hold in regards to their reserves. So it showed a little bit in the afternoon. I'm still holding some freebie July 55s. I might look for some more strikes here. The tough part is trying to find a decent risk reward strike. Maybe today I'll find one, but the fact that it's just even holding up at this level in the 40s for the last couple of weeks, I think that bodes well for more highs, especially with the high short interest. ROKU all the way up to $89 yesterday. I used the move to close some of my July 95s for 100%. I'll hold the rest of those, still have some of the hundreds as well. And then I'm looking for August strikes to play for some premium build into earnings. Maybe today's the day if it shows some strength. But similar to some of these names, it's riding the upper Bollinger Band. So to see it kind of like a little bit of flat, only up 1% yesterday, not surprised, but maybe I'll have a breakthrough. SERV Robotics, I'm disappointing to see it back under 12 yesterday. Couldn't hold the 12s all the way down to 11 in the pre-market here. Still love that one. Hopefully can find a bid here in the next day or two, get over that 12 handle and then rally to 14, because I think once 14 breaks, off to the races. Still love the PayPal setup here. I mean, sitting here at 74, it's got to get going for my premiums on my calls. And same with Dell yesterday. I mean, just disappointing, but it's been a massive run the last 2 weeks. Hopefully that starts getting going. And I think that's it. I was trying to look at some of the other names. What did I post on the watch list this morning? Oh, MDB. That's another name. I just wait for that to have it stay. It seems like it's kind of found its bottom. So don't be surprised if I try some lottos on that one at some point. And that's it. Let's have a great day. I'll be back. Rock and roll.